see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world.
This is the Wrestling Matters podcast where we stand up for professional wrestling.
Here we fucking go! Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! Yes! 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 That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold said so!
Lovely people of the wrestling world, it is me, the HEAD, back with you for another episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 151 today. I hope you guys well, what it is you are doing, and some big news came out this week in the world of professional wrestling. I'm going to get to it today, and there's a rumour flying around as well, a rumour, just a rumour though, but it is a very interesting direction. Well, in fact, I'll talk to you more about that in the podcast as well. Today's show, we're going to talk Raw, Smackdown, 205, NXT, and TNA Ring of Honor. I believe we're going to throw in there some ICW too. I believe ICW is back this week as well. I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure Friday Night Fight Club will return this week as well. As I'm recording this, I haven't checked yet, so ICW will be on the podcast today, all being well. Next part of the Nikki Addams interview as well, plus a few other things here and there. The following episode of the podcast can be listened to on SoundCloud, Radio Big World, youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Madness, and and the Swerve Talk Network as well. Don't forget that. Nearly forgot it. Sorry. With S&M Show Podcast, Sunday Segway, Offshoot Radio, Max Wrestling with Daz, Wrestling Unleashed. Check out the new episode with me and Michael this week. We had Daz on the show. Daz is coming on the show in ASAP on this show very, very soon, so be sure to look out for that. I'm getting in touch with him this week, so Daz, if you're listening, check your emails, mate, or your DMs. All good stuff on there as well. You can download the episode for free. Check it out each and every Mondays. This episode on the Swerve Talk Network each and every Mondays at 9 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. That is if the clocks don't fuck it up. Also, shout out to all the partners, Raging Falcon, OSW TV, shout out to Talk Brunch at Talk Brunch on Twitter, Rick Dara as well, and his crew. Also, check out The Mystery Island, facebook.com/Back to the Island, and Wrestle Island as well for more information on that. Hopefully, I'll have some information next week on the podcast for you. It's very difficult to do, but we're getting very close now to the wrestling side of it, the upcoming show that Wrestle Island have got in March, so we need to get that shit out ASAP. Now, but if I get anything during this podcast, I'll bring it to you at the end. So, it's very interesting week this week. I'll talk Raw and Smackdown later on in the podcast, but I want to talk Emelina first, and this fucking story with Emelina, God almighty. Where do I begin with this? I've already ranted about this on the Wrestling Unleashed episode that I did with Michael this past week, so be sure to look out for that as well. Shout out to Ruthless Aggression as well, but this Emelina thing, fuck's sake. Emelina, where are you? Emelina, where are we? Just let me get this up here. It was about the story about how WWE producers, which I'm guessing is creative, wanted to compare the Emelina gimmick, to Sable and the Cat. Like I said, if she was compared to the Cat, she'd probably still be married to friggin' Jerry Lawler. So I'll read the little article out again. That was on NoDQ.com. Excuse me. Right, so the article is as follows. It's on NoDQ.com on the WWE news section. Check it out. And The article goes like this. According to ProWrestlingSheet.com, the Emma Lehman gimmick was dropped because WWE producers, creative, probably, I don't know, felt that Emma couldn't perform the character the way they wanted it done. I'm not surprised when you consider you kept her off of TV for 17 weeks. The character was reportedly intended to resemble what Sable and the Cat were doing during the Attitude Era, and Emma was apparently not committed enough to the role. I'm not surprised. You keep her off TV for 17 weeks, you promote the hell out of this gimmick, but it doesn't work. So it's possible that the gimmick will be used for somebody else. You should have done that in the first place. Just leave Emma alone and leave her back to the gimmick that she was before she was injured. Let her wrestle. Just let her wrestle. It's ridiculous and stupid how WWE creatives' mind works at times. It really is. It's like, really? Do we care? For God's sakes. Oh, boy. I'm not going to talk about that too much because I've already talked about it enough this week. But, yeah, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Little bit of breaking news this week that I just got in this week. Where are we? A little bit of breaking news, ladies and gents. A little bit of very sad breaking news. WWE.com. Breaking news. WWE is saddened to learn that George the Animal Steel has passed away. So, yeah, dies at age 79. WWE Hall of Fame. William James Myers, known as George the Animal Steel, has passed away. So, yeah, the animal is dead. So, shout out to his family. Oh, boy. Never ceases to amaze me, doesn't it? So, yeah. Anyway, back to positive stuff. I'll talk more about that later on in the podcast, if I have time. But, yeah. It seems there's a rumour flying around. If anybody watched Raw this past week, Triple H pulled Kevin Owens aside. Now, what was based off that action? A monstrous new incarnation of the Authority could be on the cards for WWE. Or could be on the cards, it could be like an evolution kind of Authority that Triple H is looking to do to take over Raw. And it includes two people that includes Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. That's what it's looking to do. So I've got the article here. I'll bookmark it. I'm not going to read it at all. I'll leave it in the description below. It's from sportkida.com. I'll leave it in the description below and you can read it for yourselves. It'll be at the top of the description. Yeah, I don't know if they'll probably go for 3 on this one. With Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. That's 2 right there for you, because we all saw Triple H pull Kevin Owens aside, to one side and took it from there and everything. And Samoa Joe is the hitman who took out Seth Rollins. So, yeah, it's very interesting how this is going to put out. As long as it's not the watered-down version of the Authority in the first place, Forget Stephanie, let her be the commissioner of Raw. Allow Triple H to form this faction and just, have him take over Raw like he used to do with the old Evolution. Get somebody in as a GM to work with Stephanie and have that happen. And maybe there could be some conflict on screen between Stephanie and Triple H in that role. I'd like to see that. Don't put them together, because then it'll be Monday Night Raw back to square one again. It would. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm very much interested to see how this pans out. So we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. But all in all, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this part. I'm going to wrap the part up here. If I have any more things to discuss, I'll talk about them later on in the podcast. But I don't want to put this on too long, because like I said, I've got a lot to get through today. I want to get through it and get it out of the way. But yeah, George the Animal Steel is now dead, age 79, rest in peace, sir. And like I said, the link to that story about Triple H forming the new incarnation of Evolution, as JD from New York puts it, we'll put it in there as well. It's in the top of the description, whether you listen to this on YouTube or Swerve Talk Network or SoundCloud or Radio Big World. So yeah, be sure to check all of that out, guys. And like I say, I'll wrap this up now in part 1. I'll be back in part 2 with WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and 205 review. as well. So stay tuned. If you enjoy the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out the Wrestling Matters podcast right now on YouTube at AJW Wrestling Matters. You can also check it out on SoundCloud at Wrestling_Matters_podcast. That's /Wrestling_Matters_podcast. Also, check it out on Radio Big World as well. For more information on them, you can check them out on SoundCloud and the Swerve Talk Network as well. For more each and every week of the Wrestling Matters podcast, weekly podcast that talk about the best in professional wrestling today, whether it's WWE, Ring of Honor, TNA, ICW, Progress Wrestling, and the list goes on and on. Only the best in professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. This is part 2, and now it's time for Raw, Smackdown, and NXT and 205. But let's do NXT and 205 first. I'll run through the matches. NXT Tag Team Champions, the Authors of Pain, took on Lance Arona. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. And Garrettson Spears. Great names. Two jobbers, if you will. Billy Kay and Peyton Royce defeat Liv Morgan and Ember Moon. DIY set their sights on getting their tag team titles back. Also, they'll have to deal with the Revival as well. Like I said many times on Wrestling Unleashed and other podcasts as well. My other podcasts that I do and all that. Why anyone would pick a fight with the Authors of Pain, I do not know. And WWE UK Champion, United Kingdom Champion Tyler Bate defeated Trent Severin as well in what was an epic match. So, yeah, that's pretty much NXT there, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on the WWE Network. And also, check out the video on there where William Regal gave Pete Dunne some choice words. A little word of warning, if you will. And also, Cassius Ohno making his return to NXT very soon. 205. Ladies and gents, let's do 205. 205 is as follows. Rich Swann defeats Noam Dar, Grand Metalik defeats Drew Gulak, and Neville defeated TJ Perkins. That promo that he did on Smackdown obviously didn't go very well. You know what? Speaking of Smackdown, now I've mentioned it, let's talk about Smackdown first. Because Smackdown, in my opinion, is the A show. I'm sick of talking about Raw. Let's do SmackDown first. The SmackDown results were as follow. February 14th, they were as follow. A major WWE Championship main event was made for tonight, which was a triple threat match involving Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and AJ Styles. Because both men were owed a rematch, so Daniel Bryan came out and just thought, I'll put him in the match. Let's put him in, triple threat match. Let's do it. American Alpha defeated The Ascension. Baron Corbin savagely attacked Dean Ambrose, all leading to WrestleMania. Mickie James gets one up on Becky Lynch. Gets even, if you will. New SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi was interrupted by Alexa Bliss. That feud is not over by a long shot. And Bray Wyatt defeated John Cena and AJ Styles in the triple threat match to retain the WWE Championship. And the story of that match, guys, happened after the match, because Bray Wyatt was in the ring celebrating, and Randy Orton came out and declared his undying service to Mr. Bray Wyatt and refused to go to WrestleMania to face the WWE champion at WrestleMania. So their bond is stronger than ever. I don't know where they're going with this. It should be Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I don't think it's going down that way from what I'm seeing. But this coming week on SmackDown, WWE Champion Bray Wyatt's Mania opponent to be determined in a Battle Royal. How the hell that's going to work out, I do not know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on SmackDown. But it's very interesting. There's talks of SmackDown's direction, if you will, going to a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper. How the hell that's going to work out, I don't know. But I guess we'll find out this coming week on Smackdown. But anyway, let's go to Monday Night Raw as well. So where's the Raw results? Oh yeah. In a Raw episode that ended with a new women's champion, the results are as follows. Roman Reigns defeats Raw Tag Team Champions Gallows and Anderson via disqualification. I'm getting sick of Reigns interfering and interrupting in the first promo. He's always been in the first promo as of late, and quite frankly, it's driving me up the fucking wall. Kofi Kingston defeats Marty Jannetty. Bo Dallas. Sorry, little thing. If you watch Wrestling Unleashed, you'll get that joke. Jack Gallagher defeats Noam Dar. Emelina announced the makeover of Emelina to Emma, which I talked about in the first part. I'm not going to go through that again. Braun Strowman's competition run continues by beating Mark Henry this coming Monday, tonight in fact. He would go up against Big Show. Sami Zayn defeats Rusev, then gets attacked by Samoa Joe because Sami Zayn didn't obviously like the words that Samoa Joe was saying about him in the interview. So it could be Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn down the road. I hope so, because I hope they have Samoa Joe one-on-one with Sami Zayn on Raw or at Fastlane for the US title. And hopefully they'll get Chris Jericho to drop the US title to Sami Zayn. I don't like the idea of going to WrestleMania and having Kevin Owens challenging Chris Jericho for the US title. It makes no sense. Tozawa beats Daivari. The Festival of Friendship descended into chaos and the breakup of KO. That's right, Jericho is over. Because Kevin gave Chris a present, which was the new list. Jericho saw his name on it. Jericho lifts the list up. It's the list of KO, and then all hell breaks loose. And the breakup of Jericho. Cesaro defeated Enzo Amore. And Bayley defeated Charlotte to become the new women's champion, thanks to a little help from Sasha Banks. Because Dana Brooke came down, stuck her nose and went, didn't belong as always. And then Sasha comes out and whacks her with the crotch. And then goes round and hits Charlotte while she's in the figure eight lock, the figure eight, and defeats and whacks Charlotte right in the chest. Although clear as day, you know it's the tit that she hits her with. Oh yeah, I hit her in the stern. No, it's clear as day. She hits Charlotte, Sasha in the tit. Simple as that. But Bayley is the new women's champion, and many people are blowing a gasket over this. They're going, oh, why have they put the belt on Bayley now? Why have they done this? Why have they done that? Quite frankly, I wish they'd have done it at Fastlane, to be honest, but that's a different news for a different day. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Newsflash to all the people that have a problem with Bayley and saying this is the worst thing ever. It's simple as mine. It's a simple thing. Because Bayley wins the women's title, they're going to have her drop it to Charlotte at Fastlane. Pay-per-view streak, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Pay-per-view streak. It's as simple as that, guys. Pay-per-view streak. But I do agree with one segment of the wrestling fans in this wrestling community that we have. I wish they would stop playing hot potato with the damn women's title, man. There's so many times you could do it, but don't overdo it, for fuck's sake. And at the moment right now, in my opinion, they're overdoing it. And it's not making the Raw Women's title looking any good at all. But that's what's going down, guys. Bayley wins the women's title on Raw. She drops it at Fastlane back to Charlotte. And then she'll probably end up winning at WrestleMania. It's as simple as that. She'll probably end up winning at Mania. So it's simple WWE mathematics. Despite the fact there's no numbers in it. But, you know, if you lose your brain, you'll see the picture. Anyway, guys, that is the end of Raw, SmackDown, to NXT, and 205. I will be back right after this with TNA and Ring of Honor, so stay tuned.
Wrestling fans, look no further for the most unpredictable wrestling podcast you've ever heard on the Max Wrestling Podcast, hosted by me, Dazzy Dangerously, with everybody's favourite captains, The Phoenix, The Butcher, and Mike Larkin, plus special guests, promos, and trivia. Find out what's been going on in wrestling history as I take you down memory lane every week.
And the Butcher's Stupid Idiot of the Week gets it!
And see if you agree with me as I choose every week's segment of the week in the world of wrestling.
The Max Wrestling Podcast is available on YouTube, Podomatic,
Mixcloud, and Soundcloud.
And the Swerve Talk Network with other great shows.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Max Wrestling UK or go to our website maxwrestling.wix.com/maxwrestling.
And that's the bottom line.
Because we're out of time.
Yalikalikimaka.
Listen in, man.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shubs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back to part 3 of the Wrestling Matters podcast, and now we're just going to get straight into it, guys. Ring of Honor and TNA. So let's do Ring of Honor first. I've seen Ring of Honor this week. Guys, if you don't see Ring of Honor on the, because you usually put up on the Ring of Honor website, download the Fight app. Man, download the Fight app. Download the Fight app. And on your mobile phones, whatever you've got, because you'll be able to watch it a little bit early than you would if you were watching it on the Ring of Honor website. So yeah, be sure to check it out, guys. Check it out as best way you can. Hangman Page beats Mark Sells. We have promo involving the Bullet Club, Hangman Page, Young Bucks, Adam Cole, and Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes buries his hometown as well. The Bullet Club, Adam Cole and Cody took on Jay Lethal and Bobby Fish in a tag match, resulting from that promo segment. And Bobby Fish and Jay Lethal managed to get the win via submission. And yes, Bobby Fish makes Adam Cole tap out. And Mark Briscoe has a match and wins. And the main event was the Rebellion, Kenny King, Red Titus, and Caprice Coleman defeating Dalton Castle and the Boys, all to do with the 6-man tag team titles as well. So yeah, that was pretty much Ring of Honor, guys. A little bit of news here from TNA as I'm looking. TNA offers contract to former world champion. It seems that now Jeff Jarrett is back in the reins of the company. He wants to bring back a former world champion, the husband of Mickie James. That's right, Magnus. He wants to bring Magnus in. Apparently TNA, according to the article, TNA is offering him a contract to come back. As you well know, back when Dixie was around, he was the world champion. And last time I checked, he was the current GFW champion, Global Force Wrestling heavyweight champion as well. So that was the last time I checked. It might be different now. Like, I haven't caught up with anything from GFW yet, and it's pretty hard to catch up with GFW or anything to do with GFW. Well, because the owner of GFW is now running TNA, so it's a crazy world, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. It's a very much crazy, crazy world we live in. Good and better. Anyway, speaking of TNA, let's bash out the TNA results if I can find them. And I think I have found them. This thing would hurry up. Thank you. February 16th. There we go. That's the one. Actually, it's February 16th. Sorry, a little brave fart there, guys. It's on Thursdays now. But yeah, I'm just catching myself up. Sorry, I'm a little behind. The matches were Moose and Brandy Rose defeated Decay. Jesse Goodaz defeated Kingston. Broken Hardys defeated Psychosis and Super Crazy to win the Mexican Tag Team Championships. Brooke defeated Sierra with Maria. And Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards ended up in no contest because all hell broke loose after it as well. So, yeah. Is Madison Rayne the commentator now for the women's side? So every time there's a women's match, you've got Josh Matthews and D'Angelo De Niro, the Pope, doing their thing, as they always do. You know, despite the fact that I hate Josh Matthews, but that's another issue for another day. Best announcer in the world, please. But when the women's match, like Brooke's match, comes up, for example, does D'Angelo make way for Madison Rayne? I don't know. I've never come across that or anything with TNA. And plus, I don't think I'll be able to watch TNA over in the UK because they got kicked off a challenge. So it's very difficult to even commence that. But anyway, I don't care. I could care less. And quite frankly, Josh Matthews sucks. So that about wraps it up for this podcast. That was Ring of Honor and that was TNA. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I'll be back in part 4 with the Nikki Addams interview, plus a little something that I'm 13 years ago to this very day from Tuesday, February 14th, St Valentine's Day Massacre took place in 1999. I'll talk about it after this, before the Nikki Addams interview, so stay tuned. Welcome back to part 4 of the Wrestling Matters podcast, guys. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. You've seen, or you've listened to Raw, Smackdown, 205 and NXT, TNA and Ring of Honor. Now in this part it's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to give you the next part of the Nikki Addams interview. But before I do that, I'm going to bring something up. You heard that little intro at the beginning of the podcast. Yeah, the little intro that I did at the beginning of the podcast. Well, that's assembled to something, which I'll get to in a second, but I want to give a little disclaimer now. If you listen to this on YouTube, if that intro is not on the YouTube, it'll be due to copyright. I'll edit it out, and you'll have to go from there. If you want to, like I say, if you want to listen to it, go to SoundCloud, go to Radio Big World for all that stuff as well, if you want to listen to that intro. So if you listen to this on YouTube and you haven't listened to the interview, I apologize. It'll be due to copyright because YouTube is very piss poor when it comes to their copyright plans. However, that song was called Crazy, and that was the intro they used for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, because 13 years ago, as of last week, from February 14th, was 13 years since St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 1999, headlined by Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a cage. Plus a few other things here and there. You know, X-Pac and Triple H versus Chyna and Kane. Blue Dust versus Gold Dust was probably one of the worst matches I've ever seen. And Hardcore Holly and Al Snow in a, which I think ended up in a was it Mississippi or Memphis? It ended up. I don't know where it ended up because they should really bring them hardcore matches back, to be honest with you, because you never know where they ended up. They could have ended up anywhere. I think at one point at SummerSlam 1999 they ended up in a restaurant somewhere. But anyway, there was that. Val Venus beating Ken Shamrock for the Intercontinental Championship thanks to Billy Gunn. Yeah, a few other things here and there as well. But it was all headlined by Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin in a cage. Vince McMahon taking that horrible bump off the cage where Austin hits him, bounces right off the cage. He bounces right off the cage, Vince, and goes right through the announce table, and I swear it looked like it broke him in half. That's how bad that was, and that's how bad it looked. And then there was also the debut of Paul White, who we know as the Big Show as well. That was Big Show's debut in 1999, and the mistake he made was he threw Austin on the gate into the cage, looking to, beat him and everything like that, but it didn't work out because Austin ended up on the floor and went on his way to WrestleMania 15 to beat The Rock for the WWE Championship. But yeah, 13 years of February 14th, that's when it all came to fruition, guys. St Valentine's Day Massacre 1999, it was great. Great pay-per-view, and just great. One of them little gems that you always remember. At least I do anyway. Right, guys, well, I'm not going to talk about that too much. I want to get into the Nikki Addams interview. This is the next part of the Nikki Addams interview, and I'll be back in part 5 with ICW. So stay tuned.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I've always, if I start realizing something might not be good, no matter how much you don't want to do it, you go get looked at, because if there's something wrong, like I had a shoulder injury that lasted quite some time that I had to go get looked at, and that way they could help me figure out the best source of treating it. Meanwhile, if I would have ignored that, I probably really would have ended up making it worse and severely injuring it past the point of where it was. Yeah. We could have went to like rotator cuff or that kind of status, which fortunately was not the case.
Yeah, thankfully. Otherwise it'd have been bye-bye career. Do you watch The Business? Do you watch WWE? Do you watch TNA? Do you watch any other wrestling promotions? Or do you have the time to?
I do. I mean, and if I don't catch it right away, I always go back and check it out, depending on like what my work schedule is like. But I always get to it anyway. I gotta follow, I gotta know what's going on. Like that's our business, so
it is.
I need to know everything, because it's just how it works.
What's your take on the direction of WWE at the moment in terms of the brand extension?
I love it. I'm for it. I think it's giving new opportunities. That's, like I said before, the cruiserweights are coming in. They're doing great things with women and other people that didn't have opportunities before in the past, or you would see not getting opportunities for other people. Like now that you get to see a bunch of people and know that they're not just sitting on the back and that they're getting a moment too, which is what we all work for. So you look and you're like, good for them. Yeah.
What's your take on Monday Night Raw? I mean, the big debate for Raw since the brand extension is Smackdown is on 2 hours. It's on 2 hours a week, and they think that the Smackdown show has benefited well. But do you think Raw should be 2 hours, or do you think it should just stay being 3 hours?
Raw, I mean, they use the time, they utilize it, they get more opportunities for people, which is a good thing. You never know, like SmackDown might do the same thing. Maybe they'll have to take up 3 hours soon, and then give more opportunity as well. It all depends on how like they decide they can use the space, which I think they will utilize it very well. And it's not like it's going to be boring or anything, and then more people will get their time.
If you had to choose which show, which one would it be, Raw or SmackDown?
If what was that?
If you had to choose which show to watch, or which show to
if I had
support.
To pick one?
If you had to pick
over
one,
the other?
Yeah.
I might have to go with Raw, because they got some Charlotte, they got some Sasha and some Bayley, and I love me some of them.
Yeah. 3 members of the 4 Horsewomen as well. Well, yes. 4 Horsewomen of NXT.
But I love SmackDown too, but like I absolutely adore Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley.
Yeah, and Becky's on SmackDown. I
love Becky too.
Yeah, I've always said that they should. Do you think they should make them into like a group? I mean, everybody knows them as the 4 Horsewomen of, well, at least of NXT anyway. They came up together. They put women's wrestling back where it belongs and got rid of all the diva rubbish and everything like that was in it, and even the Divas title, which was the best thing ever. Get rid of that hunk of that garbage. I hated that belt so much. It wasn't even funny. Getting rid of them. Do you think they should put them 4 together, bring them up to a brand, say Raw, for example, and put them together as a group and have them as a group, call them the Four Horsewomen and just let them be a group on Raw and that? Or do you think they should just do their own separate thing? Because I would like to see them. Don't get me wrong, I like them as singles competitors, and Charlotte's the Queen of Raw at the moment. There's no question about that. She in terms of the women's division, she runs Raw definitely, and there's Bayley and the Sasha on there as well. I would have liked to have seen them be a group and be like Evolution, what Evolution was back in the day. Have them run the women's division and have them work with other females to get them up to that level they needed to be, because that's what the Four Horsemen were like. And I was always hoping that they would do that with the women's division. I mean, what would you see? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I absolutely love the Four Horsemen to begin with. I mean, I thought they were absolutely incredible. I enjoyed watching them. All of them are incredibly talented. It would be pretty cool to see them do something like that for women. One, because I am a woman, and two, we haven't seen anything like that before, for females. So that would be pretty cool, I have to say. And, they have so many other women that are coming up now that it's not just like you got to keep them separate. It's you could do a lot with that, and you have plenty of other good women for them to work with and do stuff with as well.
All right, you brought up being a Four Horsemen fan. What was your favourite incarnation of the Horsemen? Because there was a lot.
Oh, yeah, I know. See, that's tough. I mean, I'm just like, that is a tough one to answer. I mean, I just love them overall, and the fact that it's like there was always like a new way to evolve and like carry on. I've always like, yes, because I love them,
Yeah. Did you even?
So I mean, I just enjoyed the fact that like they always found a way to keep it fresh and change things and keep going rather than it just be like the one of like the four of them, and then like when that was done, it was over. You know?
Did you even like them when they had Benoit, Malenko, and even Margot at one point as well? Margot McMichael in the later years of WCW.
Well, I did enjoy Benoit and Malenko. I mean,
they were the perfect fit. Yeah, they were a perfect fit.
I did enjoy them. I felt like they did fit in really well.
Yeah, Malenko was definitely a perfect fit. Benoit was tailor-made for it, like Arn Anderson said.
Absolutely, it was obvious.
Yeah, he was Four Horsemen to a T. It's just a shame he wasn't around when Ole first left. Not to say that Barry Windham wasn't a perfect fit also, but if he had been around when Ole left, Ole Anderson left, I don't think there would have been a problem. I think the Four Horsemen would have had that great success that they did have, but I think it would have went to another level, in my opinion, on that. What in terms of who you've wrestled in your career, who has been your favourite female and your favourite person to wrestle? In terms of who have you wrestled and it's been like putting on a pair of gloves? You could wrestle her any day of the week, every day, in fact.
Because I enjoy wrestling them so much.
Yes.
And because we had a good match. Yeah. Victoria, also known as Tara, also known as Lisa Marie Barron. I wrestled her last week. It was the best experience of my absolute life. We had a great match. She was a generous, giving person, easy to work with, really cares about helping the younger people come up and succeed. I could do it. That's just, I could, if that opportunity presented itself every day.
Yeah. There was talks of her going back to WWE as well, but obviously that seems to have fallen through.
You never know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they things change all the time. So I mean.
Well, Mickie James has returned.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
And neither did I, quite frankly.
It leaked out.
Yeah, I mean, what I find amazing is she's actually on Smackdown.
Yeah, no, and I think that's cool. I think that was a thing, because Raw has a lot of good stuff going on. And not that SmackDown doesn't, but they're putting her with someone that, is coming up and doing great. But now, they got that extra, who wouldn't want that guidance of somebody else, It's like that has so much experience, so much talent, so much credibility to guide them and take them.
If they use her as a manager for Alexa Bliss, That's perfect for her. Yes, she's the women's champion, but if they use Mickie James as like a guidance to her, or maybe like in a managerial role and everything like that, that could be perfect for her, because she was around well before all this women's revolution was here. I mean, she was wrestling in the WWE when Trish and Lita were around at the time, and having.
She's a legend of her own too, because she was around for that. Like, she's, you know, you think Trish, you think Lita, you think Victoria, you think Molly Holly, Jazz, Jacqueline, Mickey's right in there.
Yeah.
And she's still doing her thing. She's still wrestling, which is incredible, because you think of the rest of them, and they're not. Well, I mean, Jazz still wrestles here and there. Victoria does as well. But you think the rest of them, and they're not. Like, they're, you know, they've moved on with their career and moved on to other directions.
Yeah. And not only that, Mickie had a great success as well, despite what the shape it was in and everything, but she still managed to have a great success in TNA too. As well.
Yeah, no, she was great in TNA, and, you know, I guess with what you're saying before, how TNA can be, that might not have been the easiest thing to accomplish, but, I mean, she did great there.
Yeah.
Same with Gail, same with some of the other girls, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, before WWE took off with, like, women being, like, how they are now, like, that was TNA's thing.
Yeah,
and that's why I liked TNA so much, because I saw what they did for women.
Yeah, women being women again and not being divas. Which really annoyed.
Well, just being wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, to know that they were being
treated
as equals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Women's being women's wrestlers, not friggin', you know, divas and all, yay, you know, all this kind of stuff and everything like that. I mean, you know, being the wrestlers that they can be and they should be as well.
Absolutely.
Speaking of TNA, what's your take on TNA as a company, and what's your take on this new direction they seem to have gone to as well? You know, like I was saying earlier on, removing Dixie Carter and that.
I think that things, like, at least I hope that things for them are going to turn around and go in a better direction. You know, like, it's always good to have competition. You know, you don't want just one option. It's always good because, you know what, when you do have competition, you're constantly working on making your brand better. And it's nice to know that, like, as an indie wrestler, you do have an opportunity to go to somewhere else. Or if you go to one, you have an opportunity maybe to get seen and make it to the other and be on the stage that you're looking to go. It's just more opportunities for, you know, especially the indie people. You know, look at who's there now. You got your Jade, who was formerly Mia. You got Marty, who I used to work with all the time. You know, I'm happy for them. You know, that was a stage that they were able to get on to catapult them into another level.
Yeah. Like I say, if they, like you correctly say, you hope you can go, the TNA can go in that right direction now. I mean, in my opinion, whether you agree with this or not, it's either do or die for them now. They either get it right this year, and if they end up going back to square one again, surely that's it for them. I mean, they've got a new owners now in Anthem. They've got Jeff Jarrett's back with the company, even though that poor sod can't get GFW over, from what I'm hearing. Dutch Mantel's back there as well. Seb Coulter to WWE fans. You know, surely now this is.
I'm hoping that things take off for them. You know,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is their year. This has to be. They've got to get this right this year. If they go back to what they were and the state they were in last year, they're done. They have to be done.
It's do or die.
Yeah, it's got to be. We either get this right now, or we're fucked. Simple as that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And like I said, I've always had to deal with these fanboys and TNA idiots and, you know, all these TNA people, these TNA fans out there saying, oh, this, and this, you know, you're just saying this because you don't like TNA. I've said this to many people, and I'll say it to you right now. I like TNA. I don't want to see any wrestling company go under. Hell, I never even want to see WCW and ECW go under, for crying out loud. But if you don't get it right, if you don't get that direction right, or if you don't get that leadership that can help that company go in that direction, you're knackered. It's as simple as that. And that's what people don't understand. I mean, when you hear Josh Matthews say, "Oh, TNA's got the best talent roster in the world," you want to believe him. You do. You want to believe him, but it's the company that makes it. I mean, it's like I said last year, the company that makes it thing. In my opinion, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, the wrestler, in my opinion, that's kept TNA afloat, in my view, and God bless him for doing it as well, because this guy's had plenty of problems in WWE, is Matt Hardy. With the broken Matt gimmick. I mean, I never liked that gimmick at first, but I got to give that guy a hell of a lot of credit, because he's kept TNA afloat. And there's all this talk about him coming back to WWE and, you know, and all that. This guy has creative control. Do you think he should come back to WWE? Or do you think that would be a mistake for him?
I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I'm not really sure. I mean, because, like, things are pretty good for him, and, like, there's a chance they could go better, but you never know. You know, sometimes you just got to take a risk and hope for the best. Like, I don't really, you know, like, it's like WWE. It's like that's where you want to be, and you just hope that, like, they would do, like, what you're looking for them to do, you know, to get that opportunity. There's, like, I don't really, you know, like, I'm thinking about it if it was me. You know what I mean? Like, I'd probably go for it and hope for the best, and that I wasn't making a poor choice for myself.
Yeah. Right, we all know, if you watched Raw this past week, as we're recording this now, this is a Sunday, January 22nd, but if you watched Raw this past week, Kurt Angle is going into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania. Well, the night before WrestleMania. What's your take on that? What's your opinion on that?
I'm surprised. Not surprised because he doesn't deserve it, but, you know, I think a lot of us didn't see it coming, but I think a lot of us didn't see it coming when they inducted Medusa, or Alundra Brilliance, as she was in WWE. Which is great. The same thing with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. You know, you see these things, you're like, damn, good for them. They deserve it. Yeah. And you're just glad that the opportunity is there for them, you know, and that their greatness is recognized.
If you could name one person that is not in the WWE Hall of Fame that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, that you think, as a wrestling fan, that why isn't this person in the WWE Hall of Fame right now? He deserves it, or even she deserves it as well, depending on whether it is out there as well. If you had that one person, who would it be and why?
Victoria.
Oh, Victoria.
She definitely deserves it. I mean, she has done just as much as the other girls, being Lita and Trish and that kind of stuff. She is so talented, so wonderful. You could tell, like, when I worked with her, how much she was willing to give and help the other girls out. Like, I definitely think she deserves it.
She owns a restaurant now, doesn't she?
What was that?
She owns a restaurant now, doesn't she? She's now a restaurateur, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. It's called the Squared Circle, and it's in Chicago.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, to be honest with you, I wish it would come back to wrestling, actually, because she was actually really good. Really good back in when in her first run as in WWE, in her first run in WWE, when she was when she used to come out to tattoos, all the things she said. That was.
I love it.
Yeah.
She's the inspiration to my weirdo.
Yeah.
I was born a weirdo. My parents ask me all the time, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I don't know. Figure it out. I'm half you. I'm half you. So you made this. So get on with your individuality and being weird," and she encouraged it, just like Sherry did, and it's okay to be who you are. And that's why I let that freak flag fly, man.
Yeah, don't be something you're not, just be you.
Absolutely, and if you can't do that, then you need to question yourself. Why can't you do that? What's holding you back? Absolutely. You know, you don't live for anybody else, you live for yourself.
Absolutely. If you can't be yourself, then who can you be?
Yeah, that's what you got to figure out. You got to be comfortable in your own skin, have confidence in yourself, you know? And if for some reason something makes you uncomfortable, you got to figure out why, or at least why you're letting that one person or that one thing control you, because you need to be in control of your own life.
Right. We're coming close now to the end we're coming close to the end of this. What does the future hold for Nikki Addams? What is the goals?
Absolute greatness.
What is your aim in your... Actually, let's go with this. What is your aim in your wrestling career? Where do you strive to be in, say, 5 years' time?
I strive to be sky high, the best I can be, whatever the future brings for me. I know I work for it. I work hard every day at everything I do, whether it's my day job, wrestling, at the gym. You know, I'm doing jump squats with weights right now as I talk to you because there's not enough time in the day to get everything done. So you got to figure out how to make it work. If I'm lucky enough and presented the opportunity or be in the right place at the right time for something with TNA or WWE, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd be truly blessed. If that does not present itself, I'm doing pretty good as an indie wrestler. I know I tried. Like I said, I'm not going to be sitting at home saying, what if? I did my very best. I'm blessed, following my dreams, and absolutely no regrets, like Madonna would say.
Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That about wraps it up for this interview. It has been amazing to talk to you, and hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely. It's been incredible talking to you. I've really enjoyed our time, and I'd love to do it again.
Yes, and like I said, we will be doing it again. But this is where I step back, Nikki, and I'm going to step back, and I'm going to allow you right now to let my fans know and let my people know where they can find you on social media should they want to follow you or want to get to, you know.
I sure as hell hope they want to follow me. I'm like, if they don't know who I am right now, they're gonna, because I'm gonna be in their face and they're gonna like it. And if they don't like it, they're gonna respect it because I certainly do my best for everyone.
Well, this is your time.
On Twitter, you're gonna find me at the Nikki Addams, 2 Ks, 2 Ds. Just Nikki Addams with 2 Ks and 2 Ds on Facebook, and on Instagram, so it's just at Nikki Addams, again, 2 Ks, 2 Ds, because a lot of people always forget the second D in Addams. So if you want to find me, add that extra D.
And there you have it, guys. And check out some of her stuff as well. Check out the matches that she's been in on YouTube as well. And like I said, just look up Nikki Addams. Remember, it's 2 Ks and 2 Ds. Look her up on YouTube and you'll find the matches as well. Check her all out. But Nikki, it has been an absolute pleasure. And we will do this again. We will very much do this again. I've actually very much enjoyed this interview and very much enjoyed it. Thank you so much for agreeing to do it. Big thank you to Michael Larkin as well. And for the Wrestling Matters podcast, this will go up on episode 148 of the Wrestling Matters podcast as well. Well, the part 1 will start on that show, so be sure to check that out as well. And for Nikki Addams, I'm Anthony Walker, Wrestling Matters, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Peace out.
Yes. And that's a wrap.
Excellent. That was a good interview. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. It is absolute pleasure. And like I said, we'll go into a little bit more detail in the next interview. Like I said, we'll definitely do this again. We'll go into a little bit more detail. That one. This was like an introduction kind of interview. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
Like,
so when you have new dates or something like that, you let me know and we'll do it again.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Or you'll be the first. You'll definitely be the first to know. And if not, I'll have a word with Michael as well, because I'm sure he'd probably want to get you back on his show at some point as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. Michael, great guy too.
Yeah, he actually is. He's helped me a lot as well. And doing these podcasts, it's really, really, really difficult to get interviews, especially if you're like emailing somebody and you don't get no people back or anything, no reply back or anything like that. It's very difficult. And the best thing I do is to go on Twitter and do it. But what Michael has done for me,
Twitter is great for that.
Yeah, what Michael has done for me though in terms of this, it's just been really good and everything. And I've met like I said, I've had Lexa Rose on here, I've had you on here. You know, it's been fun, man. It's been really fun. And like I say, hopefully we can get you back on. Like I said, I'll find some dates and find some stuff and everything like that, and I'll let you know, and we'll get you back on, and we'll get you back on doing this all over again at some point as well. Right, it is now 10:30 at night over here in the UK. So I'm going to let you finish whatever it is you're doing, because it sounds you're having fun back there.
Trying to get that workout in. That's
Yeah.
the life of the wrestler.
Yeah, great, and what a great life it is as well. So
And
I'm going to let you finish. Thank you so much for coming to do this again, and I will be in touch. Stay in touch on Facebook, Twitter, and all that. I'm gonna add you on Twitter anyway. I'm gonna follow you on Twitter and that. I have 2 Twitters. I have one at Tony_Walker and one at WM Podcast as well, which is my podcast page as well. So I'll add you on both of them as well. And like I say, please keep in touch and everything. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And I'll let you get back to your. I'll let you finish your training off and finish your workout off. Have fun, and I'll see you next time.
All right, thank you. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye now. Are you sick of professional wrestling? Do you want to speak your mind about professional wrestling? Well, if you like a wrestling podcast, why not tune in to the wrestling podcast where wrestling matters? The Wrestling Matters Podcast. Each and every week, I talk about the best in professional wrestling from WWE, TNA, ICW, Progress Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and the list goes on and on. Also, on the other occasions, I bring guests in as well to shoot the breeze about the one thing that I love, that we all love, professional wrestling. So join me each and every week for the Wrestling Matters Podcast on YouTube, AJW Wrestling Matters, the Wrestling Matters YouTube channel, SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast, and any other podcasts that matters. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back everyone to the Wrestling Matters Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro there, because you know what time it is when you hear that intro. It's now time for ICW. Yes, ICW Fight Club. February 16th edition of ICW Fight Club. I don't think it's on Fridays anymore now. I think it's on not Saturdays. I think it's on Thursdays now, sorry. Yeah, Friday Night Fight Club, ladies and gents. It was headlined by a World Heavyweight Championship match involving Trent Severin and Jimmy Havoc. We'll get to that later. But it kicked off with Instant Rees in action and just beats Scott McManus. Nothing really there. Tag Team Champions took on The Purge in a non-title match, which is the Tag Team Champions, which are Mike Bird and Wild Boar. Beat The Purge, which is Crowbar and Stevie James as well. Nothing really much into that match. Great tag team match, but the champions proved their dominance and being the new tag team champions. Also, Shaz Samuels comes out and challenges Kid Fight to a street fight at Barrowmania, which Kid accepts. That deal needs to be over, and it probably will be at Barrowmania in April. Zach Gibson wins a triple threat match involving him, Charlie Sterling, and Nathan Cruz. He gets the pin over Nathan Cruz, which is ironic because them two were supposed to be, or they were last time I checked, faction members in Progress Wrestling. But hey, competition's competition, ladies and gents. James Scott beats James Scott versus Joe Coffey. Joe Coffey, and Coffey wins and says he will cash in. It was a half-fought match between them two. I mean, it was Coffey who beat James Scott to be the Iron Man of ICW. And Coffey wins the match, and he says he will cash in the Money in the Bank, not the Money in the Bank briefcase, the Square Gold briefcase, the world is watching. The eyes of the world is watching. So it could be the next Square Gold, could be Barrowmania, could be Fear and Loathing, could be anywhere. So he's gonna, pick his spot, if you will, in that situation. And no doubt, I will probably predict this right now, he will be ICW Heavyweight Champion. Also, Coach Tripp went one-on-one with the Wee Man, and thanks to Davey Boy, Wee Man gets his victory. And in a hard-fought, action-packed, hard-hitting main event, which saw Trent Severin being challenged by Jimmy Havoc for the ICW Heavyweight Championship. Trent Severin retains the belt, but after the match, Wolfgang comes out and attacks both of them, and then goes to attack Trent Severin, but doesn't realise that Jimmy Havoc is in the ring, and his plans were foiled, if you will, by Jimmy Havoc. Wolfgang's that is, but Wolfgang is hell-bent on getting his rematch for the ICW Championship and getting his belt back. Don't think it will happen, but apparently February 19th, which was yesterday, apparently they went at it and the match has been taped, so we'll probably see that in a future episode of ICW Fight Club. All being well though, guys, that was ICW. A very different look in ICW, but the main talking point of this whole ICW, guys, that was the show itself, but the main talking point of ICW in general was the incident between Mark Dallas and Polo Promotions, because Polo Promotions came out and said they wanted their rematch for the ICW tag team titles, because they created the tag team division in ICW, yada yada yada. Mark Dallas comes out and says in order for the tag team division to be the best it can be, they need to move on, and Jackie Polo didn't take too kindly to what the words that were saying by Mark Dallas, didn't take too kindly to it whatsoever, and ends up grabbing Dallas by the throat, basically, and makes his own statement and lets it be known towards Dallas. Yeah, I don't know what the hell direction that feud's gonna go, but Polo Promotions are owed a tag team title rematch. It's just a case of when they'll get it, probably by Romania, I would imagine, unless they decide to go on a Friday Night Fight Club taping and do it there. We don't know. All in all, guys, that is ICW. Good to have ICW back on the podcast. It's been a while. And, Square Go and that. Joe Coffey winning Square Go. As well as new champion Trent Seven, as you've seen. As you heard there, Trent Seven being the new champion. Kelly Ray retaining. Joe Coffey winning Square Go, and Kenny Williams still being 0G champion, and plus a few other things here and there. So it was all good at Square Go. ICW is looking good. Very good indeed. But with that being said, guys, that is the end of ICW. That is the end of this part right here. I'll be back at the final part with a quick outro and goodbyes. So, see you in a bit.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kinny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. Woo! They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Wrestling Matters podcast. This is an outro now, guys. I just want to thank everybody for tuning into the podcast and checking it out. You can check it out on, and like I said, a quick reminder, you can check it out on Swerve Talk Network. You can check it out on Swerve Talk Network Mondays, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, only on the Swerve Talk Network. You can also check it out on AJW Wrestling Matters as well on YouTube. Download it for free on SoundCloud, and also check it out on Radio Big World as well. And check out everybody on there as well, with from Sunday Segway to Max Wrestling to S&M Show Podcast to the Golden Age. And the list goes on and on. Offshoot Radio as well. Be sure to check all of the good shit out on the network. Also, shout out to all my partners, OSW TV, the Raging Falcon, RFPW Network, and all that good stuff as well. Also, shout out to Rick Dowder and the Talk Brunch crew. Be sure to check out the Talk Brunch crew each and every week, Mondays after Raw, and whenever they can go on. For more information on the Talk Brunch crew, at Talk Brunch on Twitter. Like this Facebook page of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, guys. Facebook.com/WM Podcast. Facebook.com/ Actually, there's no Facebook.com/ Back to the Island and Wrestle Island as well for more information on them. Also at WM Podcast on Twitter as well for more information on there. And yeah, guys, I'm working on some websites. I'm redoing my websites. They will be up ASAP. I've got a little thing going down at the moment, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I am working on the website as well, and I'll mention it to a few people as well to get them to help me out on that and see what's the best direction to go. Because I've got 2 websites at the moment, but I'm thinking of dropping one. So it is what it is at the end of the day. Other than that, guys, it has been a pleasure, as always, to bring you episode 151, just like I've done every other episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to download this for free on SoundCloud. And until next time, guys, my name is Anthony Walker for the Wrestling Madness podcast. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I'll see you for episode 152. So, peace out.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's 13-14.
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.